Hello, welcome back to another episode of cedh bling builds. Today's deck will feature Jeska Tymna, a mardu turbo naus deck that wants to create infinite mana and abuse Jeska in the command zone as your win, and grind value of Tymna with tiny dudes. Now, what makes this deck tech a little bit different is the fact that currently in the format in cedh, there's a shifting meta as of the filming of this video, where many lists have become like a little bit more staxy, particularly being more rule of law, where a lot of these lists have several rule of law effects in their deck. And so at any given time, at the sweatiest of sweaty tables right now, you might encounter like 3 rule of law effects on a board in a given game, which is problematic for an ad nauseum turbo naus deck. So with a couple of card choices, we can try to adapt to that, and so we'll discuss these cards and these selections as we continue. So yeah, starting things off, we have Tymna, which you get her on board pretty early, and she could just start to swing, and draw a ton of cards, which is fine, especially if you're actually at the point in the game where you're under a rule of law. It's drawing without like a blue cantrip, right? Which is problematic for the blue decks. Usually a blue deck is like play a rock, play a cantrip, and pass, and they can't do that under a rule of law. And then Jeska's really neat. With her ability, she can potentially come on board and sack with the 1 loyalty and pew 3 targets. Maybe a dork, maybe a weak hate bear, and that's the story. So let's get into this. Oh, it's appropriate that we're discussing like a new format by actually the first video, trying out a new format of capture. So our infinite mana engines would include like a worldgorger dragon. I never blinged out worldgorger dragon. I just never thought it's not an amazing combo, but it's not an amazing combo, and it's easily disrupted. And if it's disrupted, it could be quite devastating. It could really like take you out of the game unintentionally. But the worldgorger dragon, the way it works is you want a worldgorger dragon in the graveyard, and you want to reanimate it with whether it's an animate dead, or a dance of the dead, or a necromancy. And with these auras, you target the worldgorger dragon, ETB, and worldgorger dragon will trigger, will activate, getting rid of everything, exiling all your permanents, including the aura, and then so the worldgorger will die. The aura will then re-enter the battlefield, targeting the worldgorger dragon. Of course, when this happens, you want to like float your mana, right? Tap your lands and tap your rocks and float all that mana, and you just keep doing this loop, gaining infinite mana. Of course, you want to have a different creature in a graveyard just to end the combo, or else it goes on forever. And to get the worldgorger dragon into the graveyard, we have cards like Entomb and Unmarked Grave. And Yeah, and Grave is a really welcome addition to these sort of strategies. Um, I used to run this deck with a little bit of that artifact engine with the Bolsa Citadel and Sensei's Top, but it's not that great. It's not amazing. And since we're in white, there are a lot more things we could do. Uh, there are other infinite mana engines we could create. So I felt like the Bolsa Citadel and the top weren't good enough. But it doesn't matter because you can't even like entomb the Bolsa Citadel with an unmarked grave. And then of course we have a Dockside Extortionist, who could do really gross things with a Cloudstone Curio if you have a creature on board that could still net you treasure when you do loopty scoops with Cloudstone. You just play the Dockside, bounce back a baby, make your mana, and then rinse, wash, repeat. And so just make sure you have the right amount of enchantments and artifacts on your opponent's side of the field, so you can, like I said, net a mana. But the Cloudstone is not the only thing we can do with Dockside. We can also Corpse Dance to generate infinite mana with Dockside. As long as you're able to pay for the Corpse Dance, the buyback, and net a mana, net a treasure, then you'll have infinite mana, right? So you have a sacrifice outlet, sack the corpse, the Dockside, and just bring it back to life again and again and again with a buyback. And so a really nice sacrifice outlet is a Skirt Prospector. Really, really nice. One, it's a nice ritual creature. But two, it has nice synergies with Dockside, being a goblin and all. And since we're running the auras, the Animate Dead auras, we can do a lot of nonsense with Leon Relic Warder. Similar to worldgorger Dragon loops, you want the warder in the graveyard, and you Animate Dead him, and the Animate Dead, the warder will target the Animate Dead and remove it, and it comes back, it goes away, it comes back. So it's an infinite ETB, infinite LTB, infinite, you know. And in this current metagame, Warder's just a fine, okay card to like remove like a Stax piece. This deck folds to like a Graph Digger's Cage, but like the window decks aren't running like a Graph Digger's Cage because that would murder them. But still, the ability to temporarily exile enchantment is great for those pesky rule of law. Now, whether it's Dockside creating infinite treasure, or worldgorger or warder infinitely leaving the battlefield, the oracle text for the auras say that the creature is sacrificed. So Mayhem Devil is a really nifty card to have something to do with all these triggers and all these treasures. For whatever reason, if your Jeska is not available. And Mayhem Devil, in its own right, could put in work in any format, really. A bit of advice I would suggest is just to have a little bit of patience, right? Let's say you don't have the treasures to sacrifice to start pinging your opponent's hate bears with 2 toughness. Then play your fetch lands a little bit more conservatively, right? Play your fetch and then wait for an opponent to fetch. It's 1 point, and then you crack your fetch. That's another point, and boom, hate bear's gone. Of course, you can always kill the dorks, which is the dream. So yeah, it depends on what is going on in your play group. But the Mayhem Devil, yeah, could definitely punch through a hate bear. And then we have Underworld Breach. We're in red. So, of course, you have the Underworld Breach. With the Underworld Breach, you have a grinding station. You're not going to go infinite, you're not going to create infinite mana with a grinding station. With the idea of sacking a mana positive rock to the grinding station. To mill. You're not trying to mill your opponent. None of that is what's going on. You're really just feeding your graveyard for your Underworld Breach lines. And then the LED. But since we're in white, we can do something that we haven't seen since 1982, and that's Lion's Eye Diamond Oryx Salvagers combo, or Bomberman combo. Pretty much, you crack the LED, well, with the Salvagers on board, you crack the LED, making 3 white mana. Use 2 of those to reborn the LED and do it over and over again. With that infinite white mana, you could then not worry about his cost, and then you create your infinite blue, infinite black, infinite purple, infinite pink, and so on and so on. As I make this video, I have a crack in my sleeve, so let's take care of that right now. Do you guys do it the same way? Just break the sleeve so I know that it's a dead sleeve. I'll take care of this later. Of course, really pricey cards. I'll have inner. Not every single one of my cards has inner and outer. That's overkill. Right? I'm not going to put like a 50-cent common in an inner. And I know people would make some stupid argument that it's like cheating because some cards are thicker, but I've never noticed a problem. Please tell me that it's cheating, because I wish. You don't understand the hands that I get sometimes, or the gambles that I encounter sometimes. So, and then of course, which is not as strong. It's still a really good tutor, but of course we have the Tainted Pact into opponent's Nasus Oracle. I guess something not seen too much these days. Yes and no. I know a lot of people are, like I said, on these white rule of law decks. Hopefully it's just a flavor of the month, right? Hopefully it's a trend that kind of just disappears. But I really hope the format doesn't shift in that direction. But maybe you're at a pod and there are no Thassa's Oracles to take away, which is fine. Because it just winds up turning into Praetor's Grasp. Just winds up turning into like some really, really weird form of spot removal, right? Precognitive spot removal. You just get rid of the rule of law effect from your opponent's deck before they even get a chance to play it. Stupid! I'm not even gonna let you get the chance. So let's move on to our creature package. We have Ranger Captain of Eos, which is good in this format because of his ability. So it's not like you're playing a silence and then you're comboing off. No, the Ranger just gets sacked, and then you could play the Animate Dead, and that's your 1 card. So you can win under a rule of law. Oh no. You'd have to have the Jeska on board also. But you see what I'm saying. So we have Ranger of Captain of Eos, and let's check out his friends. We have Ragavan. We have Esper Sentinel. We have a Stitcher's Supplier, which is really, really a great card, especially if you're doing dockside Loop-D Scoops with a Cloudstone, because you just like mill your entire deck into your graveyard. And let's not forget the graveyard is an extension of the hand. Look at my counterfeits. You see my counterfeits? the guy on Wish, he cut this too tiny short. I'm just kidding. Insolent Neonate, which is really good to pitch worldgorgers and warders that are stuck in the hand. Sarah's Ascendant. I'm new to Mardu Turbonaus. I'm not huge on white and I'm not huge on decks that are not in blue. So Sarah's Ascendant is something I never got around to blinging out, but it puts in work. It puts in work. So if the game gets grindy rule of law bullshit with like 20 rule of laws on the board and they're not going away anytime soon, you could just start like, I don't even know. I don't even like this strategy. Imagine you could just start beating people in the head with a Sarah's Ascendant. Oh, disgusting. Disgusting, like in a bad way. And a handful of hate bears in the deck. We have Drenth Magistrate, a Skyclave Apparition, just to get rid of problematic permanents. We're not in green, so we can't just like Nature's Claim and Force of My Vigor things away. We gotta like play Warder Fair and Skyclave Apparition, but you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Opposition Agent. I gotta play this out. Just don't have the time. Voidwalker. Overeager Apprentice. That was a weird card. For the CMC of 3, it's a little pricey, right? But it's fine. Again, it's another discard outlet for your Warder and your worldgorger. But it could help to pay for Peer into the Abyss or Ad Nauseam. Right? And especially if you're under a rule of law, which is great because it's like, it's kind of like a dark ritual on a prepaid dark ritual. Pay in advance, you know. You got a terrible credit score. We have a Spirit Guide, just a ritual creature. And then we have a Lurrus. Lurrus is great. He's fine. Lifelink, so you can, you know, help to pay for juicy Ad Nauseam. And it just recurs a couple of things in my deck. Whether it's, you know, tiny creatures or an Animate Dead or Dance of the Dead. And then our our counter package. Now here's some changes I made. This is big. For a while, this has been a discussion in message boards, whether Reddit or you know, Discord, how important like Red Elemental Blast and Pyroblast are in this current metagame. And so they're not as important. You know, you don't have to pop a Hold Reacher. You're not really countering counter magic. What's more important is the spot removal. Can you get rid of the stax piece? Can you get rid of the stax piece? So the Red Elemental Blast, the Pyroblast, they're cut. But we have our Deflecting Swat. Silence, which is way stronger than any counter magic could ever be. Abeyance, which is fine, right? Just shut off the one opponent. Yeah, that's it. Sad days. In our rituals, we have a Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, Arena Filth, Calling the Weak, Red of Flame, and a Jeska's Will, because we're in Jeska tribal. Just kidding. But our commanders are teeny tiny. They're usually going to be on the board. And then we have our tutors. We have a Gamble, Enlightened Tutor. Get my Animate Dead super quick. So quick. So quick. A Vampiric Tutor. Imperial Seal. And a Demonic Tutor. And for a little bit of recursion, we have an Animate Dead and a Savine's Reclamation. Now, a noticeable exclusion would be Yawgmoth's Will. It's a fantastic card, just not for this list, I think. Um, it would just turn into a 3 mana recur like a, I don't know, Nesper Sentinel or something like that. Because, you know, don't be a scrub, don't be a noob, and try to do your animate dead combos under Yawgmoth's will. or go for it, and let me know how that works out for you. And then our draw package, we have Faithless Looting, Wheel of Misfortune, and a Wheel of Fortune. And then for the big, thick wheels, we have, not wheels, but draws, we have Peer into the Abyss and an Ad Nauseam. And for the removal package, now this is what everything really boils down to. You're going to see some cards that you've probably never thought would make it in a list, but it's the meta that we're in right now. We have a Braid, which is a fine card, right? It's versatile. We have a Fire Covenant. A Disenchant. I never thought I'd be playing a Disenchant ever in cedh, right? Whether it's my my baby boy Zer, right? That's my heart and soul. Like I never would have thought. So I just have this ugly paper copy. Because never in my life. And then we have a Fracture and Vanishing Verse. A Fracture to get rid of like a Graph Digger's Cage, right? Even though I don't believe we're in a Graph Digger's Cage meta. Oh, who knows, right? I might encounter the player who they themselves are trying to counter, like a Winota deck by maining a Graph Digger's Cage. So, and the Vanishing Verse, because it gets rid of, a Hate Bear. Yeah, weird times. In a different time, different period, that would be a Red Elemental and a Pyro. And then we have our rocks. We have a Lotus Petal, Jeweled Lotus, Talisman of Indulgence, Felwar Stone, Arcane Signet, Chrome Mox, Mox Diamond. A notable exclusion is Mox Opal. I know I could create treasure, but you can't depend on yourself creating treasure and to increase your artifact count. The artifact count on this deck is pretty low, I think. So no Mox Opal. A Grim Monolith, a Soul Ring, a Mana Vault, and a Mana Crypt. For a little bit of utility, we have a Wishclaw Talisman, and then of course a Necropotence. If you can squeeze in a Necropotence, then go for it, run it. And then wrapping things up, we have our 7 fetches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, 3-color deck. We have our 9 fetches. Big oofs. For our basics, we just have a swamp and a snow swamp. I don't care about red. Like, if I get Blood Mooned, there's my mountain. Or if I get Blood Mooned, that's a bad example because that is a mountain. If I get Blood Moon, boom, there's my mountain. So I don't care. And white is still pretty weak, even though a lot more of my cards have white in them. White is just still too weak. And then we have our 3 shocks and our 3 duels. And then the rest of our duels, we have a Luxury Suite. And that's it with the foil other duels. Silent Clearing, I don't care about. Revolt of Champions, I don't care. Sunbaked, Spectator Seating. These aren't the colors that are like my pride. But if I were to bling them out, I would keep them all with the traditional border, just so they're all matching. I don't want like mismatched, bordered other duels. If that makes sense. I know that when we return to Zendikar, we have those like ugly Simpsons art expeditions for the Battle Bond lands, and it's not my thing. And then we have Commander Legends that are like extended borders, and then what else? There's Battle Bond, extended border, and then the Horizon Land. So they're all over the place, and so I would just keep them traditional border. And then our mana abundant lands, we have Ancient Tomb and Phyrexian Tower. A Phyrexian Tower, I'm glad I didn't bling it out because I'm really eyeballing the Secret Lair. And then our rainbows, we have a Gemstone Cavern, Mana Confluence, Command Tower, and of course, City of Brass. Where's my lighting? There we go. Okay. And there you have it. There you have Tymna and her homegirl Pringles. Jesus Christ, can we sue Hasbro for this poor quality control? Do they not inspect these cards? Whatever. This is a product that they sell. Oh my god, it's like a... What are those popper things? Remember those toys from like the 1800s? You push them down, they pop up. This is really bad. This is really bad. This is a product that they sell. Anyway, that's the deck. Wish your boy luck in this metagame. Thanks.